I speak the words the Lord would have me speak. And may you, friends, hear the words the Lord would have you hear. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Please be seated. So, among my friends who are liturgists, I am known for taking the position that we stick to the lectionary every week. I pretty much don't veer from that. We don't really do civic holidays in worship here. And I always say, you've heard me say, this room is God's. That God alone is our focus here. That we worship here. No matter what we carry in, we lay it at the door. But this day is different. In this holy place, in this sanctuary, this day, we need to talk about the children of Uvalde. And I need to give you a content warning. This was a difficult sermon to write. It is a difficult sermon to give. And I think it will probably be a difficult sermon to hear. In our service today, we'll be raising a lament for the children. We've done this several times. We will name them, and a bell will toll after each name, and we will sit in silence. The children and their two teachers, gunned down by a person who was just barely out of childhood himself. Barely a week goes by that we don't hear of a mass shooting. For some reason, for me, this one really hits hard. I can't tell you why. Maybe because they're children. Maybe because the young man that shot them is 2 days older than my oldest grandson, who just turned 18. Maybe because it's Texas, where I still have family there. And one of my younger grandsons will start kindergarten in Texas next fall. And for the first time, I find that idea frightening. I can't tell you, but I've heard from others that it hits them hard as well. And Wednesday, I had signed up for laundry for Soups On, our meal that we have on Wednesday. So, of course, Wednesday morning, I was folding napkins, right? Instead of Monday morning or Saturday morning or something. The morning of, I'm folding napkins, and I thought of all those mothers who pulled little shirts and pants out of the laundry for their kids on Tuesday morning and chivied them out of bed. Get up, get up. You don't want to be late. Now you have to get up. Making lunches, making sure they had their homework, driving them to school. Hurry, we don't want to be late. All the things that a parent does every day to get their child to school. None of them with any idea that it was the last time. And on Wednesday, as I folded napkins, nothing. They did nothing around getting their children to school. Instead, those mothers and fathers are curling up in small beds. They're curled around teddy bears and small hoodies, smelling the scent of their children, and weeping, and weeping, and weeping, not sleeping. They're choosing outfits for funerals. And they will wake up every morning with that loss new again. Their hearts will forget overnight that their little one is gone, and they will wake up to a new realization of that every single day for the rest of their lives. the children who survived that shooting, 17 injured, who will carry the effects of that trauma forward into their futures. How will they ever be whole again? How will they ever feel joy and be carefree? How will their heart wounds, the heart wounds that last long after the physical ones, how will those heal? And as news comes of further school shootings, because there will be further school shootings, how will they feel when they hear all that again? How do the students of Columbine High School feel now? Marjorie, Stone Douglas, Sandy Hook. How do they feel when they hear this news? These things I'm talking to you about are graphic. They are shocking. It feels as though the world has spun out of control into evil and chaos, and I don't want to talk about them. I don't want them to be true. I'm sure you don't want to hear it. But we must hear it. We must. We must be present in this suffering. We must take time to be here and to lament. We must feel this suffering in ourselves and in others. So this morning, we devote ourselves to lament. As we say each name, followed by a bell, we will give it the time it takes, however long it takes. And think of this as you hear the bells. These names will never be spoken at graduations. They will never appear on wedding invitations. These children will never themselves be parents. These teachers will never guide their students again with kindness. They will never mark their students' achievements with pride. They will never see the milestones of their own children. They will never hold a grandchild in their arms. How long, O Lord? How long? Our collect this morning takes a phrase from Enriching Our Worship too. Help us to become co-creators of a world in which children are happy, healthy, and loved, knowing no want or violence. If we really want to do that, really, then being present to this current suffering is the first step. We must mourn this. We must mourn what is. We must stay here for a time. We must ask, as the psalmist asks, how long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long shall I have perplexity in my mind and grief in my heart, day after day? As we mourn, let us remember that God is present too. God is with those who have been wounded in body and heart. God is with us. God is weeping and rocking too. Isaiah testifies, comfort, oh comfort my people, says your God, and God is present in this hour as we are. As we move through the days ahead, we face hard questions. Questions we must ask. Our gospel today says, a voice was heard in Ramah, wailing and loud lamentation, Rachel weeping for her children. She refused to be consoled because they are no more. Here Matthew quotes Jeremiah. The context, the reference, is not to Rachel's literal children, either in Matthew or Jeremiah, but rather to the descendants of Rachel, because this is a timeless problem. In Matthew's context, Herod was enraged because he had been tricked by the wise men, and so he had 30 infants and toddlers killed to maintain his power. To maintain his power. And we, as we seek to co-create a world where children thrive and are loved, we need to ask ourselves, who is allowing children to die so that they can maintain their power? Who is standing idle in this time when we need protection so much? And what can we do? As the people of God, what should we do? Each of us has different gifts to offer in answering these questions. We should all use them now to stop the carnage that is so very, very present in our society. And let me assure you that just the number of people in this room can change this whole society. We've seen it happen with 12 apostles. It all started. With what shall I come before the Lord, and how and bow myself before the Lord on high, says Micah. That's a question we need to all ask ourselves now in this present time. Though we each need to explore that specific answer for our own lives, we cannot do nothing. We cannot do nothing. To do nothing now is to do something. We cannot let time pass and be forgetful of this hour and this suffering. As Micah goes on to say, he has told you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God? Amen.